Every single day, around 440,000 bottles of Tabasco make their way to tables all over the world. That's more than 160 million bottles a year, all carrying the same three-ingredient recipe that's been perfected for over a century and a half. Born on a small Louisiana island and still made there today, Tabasco has become a global staple, spicing up breakfasts, burgers, and cocktails in nearly 200 countries. So it makes you question, what kind of factory process keeps this fiery sauce at the top of the world's flavor charts after all these years? Well, we will uncover all that here at the Process World. Before Tabasco became a household name, it was just one man's kitchen experiment on a small Louisiana island. Back in 1868, Edmund McIlhenny, a banker turned pepper enthusiast, created a sauce that would end up changing how the world seasoned its food. Using local peppers, salt from the island's own salt dome, and a bit of vinegar, he crafted a recipe that was simple yet full of flavor. When his neighbors started asking for bottles of it, McIlhenny knew he was onto something special. He began bottling the sauce in old cologne bottles, because that's all he had, and mailed samples to grocers across the country. Word spread quickly, and soon, Tabasco was finding its way onto dining tables from New York to London. What's even more fascinating is how little has changed since then. The sauce is still made on Avery Island using the same kind of peppers, the same aging process, and the same commitment to flavor that McIlhenny started more than 150 years ago. Over time, it's become part of American culture, showing up in everything from military rations to airline meals. And today, that same recipe fuels a factory that produces more than 700,000 bottles every single day. So, what kind of process happens at the factory to make it? Well, before we continue, please leave a like and subscribe for more amazing videos like this one. Now moving on. Every bottle of Tabasco starts from one tiny seed grown with care on Avery Island. This is where the company keeps its most valuable treasure, its pepper seeds. Each year, the president of the company personally selects the best plants to produce the next generation of seeds. They look for strong stems, bright color, healthy leaves, and fruits that pack the right amount of heat. These hand-picked seeds are then sealed and stored safely before being shipped to over 1,000 farms around the world. Most of these farms are located across Central and South America, where the weather stays warm and the growing season lasts longer. Places like Colombia, Peru, and Honduras have become key partners in keeping the world supplied with Tabasco peppers. The consistent sunlight and rainfall help the plants thrive, producing vibrant red fruits loaded with natural spice. The growing process is carefully supervised from start to finish. Farmers tend to the plants daily, making sure they stay pest-free and healthy. Each pepper plant begins as a small white flower that turns into a green fruit, then shifts through yellow and orange before becoming that deep, perfect red that defines Tabasco. The peppers are small, about an inch long, but they hold a punch 6 times hotter than a jalapeno. When harvest season arrives, it's a moment of precision and patience. Every Tabasco pepper must reach a perfect shade of deep red before it's ready to be picked. To get it right, farmers use a small wooden stick known as le petit bâton rouge, the little red stick that sets the standard. They hold the pepper next to the stick, and if the color matches exactly, it's ready to be harvested. If not, it stays on the plant a bit longer. This simple tool has guided generations of farmers and keeps the quality consistent year after year. Harvesting isn't done by machines. Every pepper is hand-picked one by skilled workers who know exactly how to handle these delicate fruits. It's tough work under the sun, but this hands-on care ensures that only the best peppers make it into the next stage of production. Each year, this process yields nearly 10 million pounds of fresh peppers, all destined to become the world's favorite hot sauce. Once gathered, the peppers are rushed to the nearest processing center within hours. There, they're carefully sorted to remove any stems, leaves, or underripe ones that slip through. After sorting, they go through a thorough washing process using bubbling tanks and high-pressure water jets to clean away dirt and debris. Every pepper needs to be spotless before it's ground into mash. Interestingly, the peppers are processed within just a few hours of being picked to keep their bright color and natural flavor intact. Workers first grind the peppers into a thick, fiery paste using large industrial grinders. The air inside these facilities fills with the sharp aroma of crushed chilies, the first real sign that the sauce is taking shape. Next comes the salt, one of the 3 ingredients that make up the entire recipe. For every gallon of crushed peppers, technicians add 1 heaping spoonful of salt. The salt acts as a natural preservative, helping control fermentation while enhancing the pepper's flavor. Technicians monitor every batch closely, adjusting the grinding speed and consistency depending on the pepper's moisture and heat level. Every decision made here affects how the sauce will taste 3 years later. The result of this step is known as the pepper mash, a thick, spicy mixture that's the foundation of every bottle of Tabasco ever made. This mash holds the raw essence of the peppers, from their heat to their flavor oils. Once it's ready, the mash is packed and sealed before being shipped from the farms to Tabasco's main factory on Avery Island in Louisiana. The pepper mash arrives at Avery Island and is pumped into massive white oak barrels that once held whiskey. Each barrel is cleaned and scraped to remove any residue, creating a perfect surface for aging. The barrels are only partially filled to allow gases to escape as fermentation begins. Workers seal them with a paper layer, secure the lids with iron hoops, and pour a thick layer of salt over the top. That salt hardens naturally, forming a tight barrier that keeps the mash protected for years. Inside, the peppers slowly ferment, developing deeper flavor and aroma as the oak allows just the right amount of air to pass through. No chemicals or heat are used, only time. Each barrel is tagged by origin and year before being stored in long, cool warehouses where about 50,000 barrels quietly age. After 3 years of aging, the barrels are finally opened. The mash inside has thickened into a rich, dark paste, filled with aroma and depth. Workers remove the salt layer, lift the lids, and take samples for taste testing. What was once a sharp, fiery mixture has now matured into something smooth and flavorful, ready for the next step: blending. In the blending room, the aged mash is pumped into large stainless steel tanks where it's mixed with distilled vinegar. The ratio is precise, about 70% vinegar to 30% mash. This combination is stirred continuously for 3 weeks straight. The constant mixing allows the vinegar to break down the pepper solids, releasing all their color, flavor, and aroma into the liquid. No heat is added at any point. The acidity of the vinegar acts as a natural preservative, keeping the sauce shelf-stable while maintaining its bright flavor. Each blending tank uses mash from around 12 barrels, often sourced from several different countries. By combining mashes grown in places like Colombia, Ecuador, and Honduras, the factory ensures every batch of Tabasco tastes the same, no matter where it's made or shipped. It's a global process with one consistent goal: keeping the flavor identical to the original recipe. Once the blending is complete, the sauce goes through a series of filters that separate the pulp and seeds from the liquid. This part takes time and precision, but it's what gives Tabasco its smooth texture and clean finish. The filtered sauce that comes out is unmistakable, bright red, tangy, and ready to face one final test before it's bottled. Technicians pull samples from every single batch and run detailed tests to check salt levels, acidity, and thickness. Each test ensures that the flavor remains consistent with the brand's signature balance: tangy, spicy, and perfectly aged. There's also a human side to this process. Inside the company's tasting lab, trained tasters evaluate the sauce's aroma and flavor. They go through several rounds of tasting each day, resetting their palates with crackers and ice cream to handle the spice. Their job is to make sure every drop of sauce meets the same high standards set over a century ago. This process is not rushed or automated. It's handled with the same care that started on the farm. Only after passing every inspection does the sauce move on to the final stage: bottling. In this stage, the process happens inside a fast-moving, highly controlled production line that fills hundreds of thousands of bottles each day. Before the sauce even reaches the filling machines, the glass bottles go through their own preparation. They're cleaned, sterilized, and lined up in perfect rows as conveyors move them toward the filling stations. Tabasco uses glass bottles instead of plastic for one main reason. Glass keeps oxygen out and preserves both the flavor and color of the sauce for years. When the line starts running, the machines fill each bottle to the exact milliliter. Precision matters here because even a small variation could affect packaging and sealing later. The sauce moves quickly, with each line capable of filling around 300 bottles every minute. Across the entire factory, that adds up to roughly 700,000 bottles produced in a single day. Once filled, the bottles are capped with their signature red tops, giving them the look recognized all over the world. Then they move down the conveyor for labeling. Every label is printed in one of 22 languages to match the country it's being shipped to. A decorative neckband is added, followed by a clear plastic shrink seal that serves as both decoration and tamper protection. From there, the bottles are boxed, stacked, and wrapped into larger bundles for storage and shipping. Most are on their way to warehouses within just 3 weeks. Each one carries the same fiery blend first created more than 150 years ago, packed and sealed with the same care that started in a Louisiana kitchen. So now, after hearing all that, do you think any other hot sauce could ever match Tabasco's 150-year-old craft? Comment down below as you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos like this one.